So exciting. Hello, good morning everybody. My name is Renee Becker-Blau. I have been involved with robotics in the FIRST program for 20 years. In 2003, I volunteered at Mukwonago High School's FLL sectional tournament. So that was my start in FIRST, so it's nice to come back around and be like, oh yeah, I've been in FIRST for a really, really long time. Terrifying. So today we're here to talk a little bit about what FIRST Wisconsin is and what the Student Board of Directors is. I have the boring part that explains what FIRST Wisconsin is, and they have, my student board members, the fun part. Do you guys want to introduce yourself real quick?
Sure, yeah. I'm Kiersten. I'm on the Warrior Bots. I've been in FIRST for 8 years, started in FLL, and then in my 4th year of FRC. And I am the co-president of FRC, the Student Board of Directors.
Ooh.
I'm Jess. I'm on the Student Board of Directors. This is my, oh God, I don't want to do math this early, but it's been a while. Started in FLL, then I did FTC, and this is going to be my first year in FRC. And I'm the FTC Growth Project Lead for the board.
Woohoo! Awesome. All right. Oh my gosh, it works. I'm so excited. Okay, so we have an overarching organization, and that is FIRST Inspires. It does not work. That's pretty funny. So on a global level, they're the ones that get to come up with the game design. They're the ones who give you the rules. They train our volunteers and explain to them how this works. They kind of consolidate relationships, manage those at the FIRST HQ level, kind of that global scale, to try and implement the mission as a broader nonprofit. And then they provide like the kit of parts and the equipment and the materials you need to compete in your program. And so that's awesome, except that it's a global organization. And so you also need your local partner, which is FIRST Wisconsin, who can, be essentially like not your next door neighbor, but at least located in the same state as you, who does the on-the-ground work and is the one implementing and executing on your competition opportunities, recruiting students to join, training mentors, like they're the boots on the ground people who are making a difference in your local community. And so FIRST is working on a global level. We are working on a state level to engage and support you as our teams. And we do things like have equipment, attempt to schedule things, sometimes email people, and bring everyone together to build a community. So that is what FIRST Wisconsin does. We are a nonprofit organization. We have a number of people that help us. We have 2 FIRST senior mentors that actually work for FIRST HQ, but they are on the ground individuals who support us, about 40 hours a month. Trevor Carter is our FTC program manager, and Kayla Kaler is our communications program manager. And this is for both the FTC and FRC programs. So we capture 7th through 12th grade programs, and we appreciate our Badger Bots cohorts that do K through 8 and try to work together when we can. So those are people. You might see their names around. It's very exciting. Oops, that's going up. There we go. We also have a board of directors, which are a series of individuals that have experience with the program and are passionate about making sure that students have access to FIRST. So you can kind of see here that there's a lot of different companies and organizations that are represented. We have educators on the board, industry reps, and even FIRST alumni who are involved, and college individuals. So that's our board. And then we have the Student Board of Directors, which is way more fun. And so I'm going to tag team. Here we go. Go that way. Okay. Oh, the camera's that way. Okay. And now they get to talk to you about the actual fun things that the Student Board is doing, because it's my favorite thing in the world.
Okay. So the FIRST Wisconsin Student Board of Directors is kind of similar to the overall Board of Directors, but it's incorporating the student voice into FIRST Wisconsin to make sure we're addressing students' needs and wants as well. So we have 16 students from a combination of FTC and FRC. It's about a 50-50 split on which programs people are in. And within the student board, we have 4 major committees. And those are advocacy, education, DE&I, and growth and sustainability. Okay. So the key goals of the Student Board of Directors are to make FIRST loud in the state of Wisconsin. And what that means is we want to get our voices heard, like to state legislators, schools, things like that, where we can really grow the program and make an impact, and we want people to know about it. We also want to develop all those same committees that we said before, the growth of FIRST programs, advocacy, which is talking with legislators or local representatives, education, so making sure that everyone in FIRST has opportunities to learn and grow and get the knowledge that they need, and DE&I, so making sure everyone feels welcome and included and we have a diverse environment. And finally, another goal is to create long-term sustainability for the Student Board of Directors as well, to make sure that we can keep this awesome program running. So some of our current projects that we're looking at, for advocacy, we have the Advocacy Committee working on planning the first Advocacy Day at the Capitol in February. So that's really cool. We have over, I think around 190 people signed up for that. And it's just talking to legislators, demoing robots, building relationships to help create more support from the legislative side for FIRST in Wisconsin. That committee is also working on making kind of an advocacy membership program with Slack channels giving updates on what teams are doing at their local level to make sure that advocacy is a year-round process, not just the one day a year. For education, the Education Committee is working on the FIRST Wisconsin YouTube channel to create more educational videos that are featuring people in different FIRST teams that are sharing their knowledge. If they have a really cool robot, maybe interview them, learn some more about their robot, just to make sure that everyone has information that they can learn from. Another project that goes in there is working with the XRP robots that are basically small robots that work with the same code as the big robots, and working with those to help train rookie teams in programming, because that can be a really big hurdle for getting into FIRST, or FRC specifically, and being successful. Growth and sustainability, they're working with the UW system to help start FIRST teams, kind of using the UW system resources to find mentors and meeting space and things like that. And the next point is actually one of Jess's projects. I don't know if you have anything more you want to say about that.
So what we're doing for that is we're trying to start new teams in underserved areas that currently don't have FTC teams. So right now FTC is kind of focused in the Milwaukee area and then kind of sprinkled outwards. So we're trying to expand that as far as possible in underserved areas that, like, starting a team and maintaining a team is like going to be way more difficult than like in the Milwaukee area.
And then DE&I, working on creating a podcast to highlight the different perspectives in FIRST Wisconsin, kind of have interviews, conversations with different kinds of people. And also interviewing seniors across both FRC and FTC to make kind of a recognition video that can be shown at like the FTC state championship and regionals and things like that, to recognize all the different efforts that seniors are putting in across all of FIRST in Wisconsin. Okay, so how can you get involved? So a lot of these projects that Student Board is working on are pretty big things to take on, and a lot of them could use more help from beyond just like the 4 people that are in each committee. So something that we're planning to do is create opportunities for people to get involved on a project by project basis. So if there's like a specific project that you really specifically want to work on, you could get involved with just that project without being on the overall student board. And we're going to be posting more information on that soon on the FIRST Wisconsin social media. Looking at probably having a Zoom call toward the end of, or like middle or end of January, to start onboarding people, getting people involved, up to speed with their projects, and everything with that. And then finally, to get on the overall student board. So applications are going to be opening sometime before March 1st to get on the overall student board for next year's term. And there will be a written application first. That part will be due sometime in mid-April. And then the next step would be a virtual interview to kind of get to know, so the people on the student board can, not the student board, the like people who are in charge of the student board can get to know you, make sure that they understand where you can fit into that board in a role that fits your interests. And that will probably be at the week of April 22nd to 26th, so end of April time frame there. And as we get closer, we'll be sharing more updates on First Wisconsin social media, probably an email going out to teams, and also at FTC and FRC competition events. So that is all I have formally planned. Oh, yep.
I have one question.
Yeah.
What does your year as part of the student board, where did it start and what did that involve and how many meetings do you have? I realized.
Yeah.
Dang it.
So we started in, I believe, June with kind of a whole in-person meetup with everyone on the student board, some icebreakers, things to help us get to know each other. And then we have monthly meetings with the whole board to make sure everyone's up to date on what projects every committee's running. Individual committees usually schedule a few extra meetings in there to work on specific projects and then present their progress at the whole group meetings. And then there's also leadership team meetings about once a month, so depending on what your position is, you probably have 2 to 3 meetings a month, usually about an hour, hour and a half max, just virtual Google Meet kind of things. I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, it's a lot of Zoom meetings once or twice a month. It's really cool in my opinion because I'm on a specific committee and I usually get super focused on what I'm doing. So then you have meetings for just what you're doing and just in your committee, and then you also have these full meetings where you get to see what everyone else is doing and how your things are going to fit into everyone else's. It's kind of a year-long thing, and it's really good about scheduling around different things because now that FDC and FR season are both starting, we're really good about being good about other people's schedules, I guess.
Yeah. And anything else, or do you just open it up to questions?
Question time.
How did they select the people to be on the board, just when it initially started?
So there was the same kind of interview process as that with the written interview, or the written application and then the interview afterward. I don't really have any insights into the internal selection process beyond that, but
I know I found out about it at FTC State. They were kind of hey, we're starting this. If you're interested, you should apply. And I'm huge on outreach and stuff and things like that. So that's why I applied. And then you had different interviews. So what went into picking why me and why Kiersten? I don't know. That'd be a Renee question, but I don't know. I think if you are passionate about FIRST and you want to make a difference and you want to make this program better for the kids after you, you're the fit for the board. If you are passionate and you want to see a good change in FIRST, you should apply and you're going to be a great fit. No matter how long you've been in FIRST, everyone's input is super helpful.
So I think it was a mixture of, there were some geography-based decisions that were made. There were, we have such a concentration of teams in the Waukesha County area that was kind of a hard one to balance out. And so it was a mix between that geographic location, FTC, FRC program experience, trying to balance those two different pieces, age ranges, and what people were passionate about. We also started this where I was I need a student board, and then I was but I'm not going to tell them how to organize themselves, and so it was really, and I 100% had ways I thought they would be organized, but we had our first meeting, and they came up with this brilliant idea to do the co-presidents and to kind of break down the student board in these different areas, and I was really impressed with that. And so the interview process may be slightly different this year because we now have kind of our executive lead team. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that looked like?
Yeah, sure. So at our first meeting, we broke down what we wanted from a leadership system in the student board. We decided one of the really important things was, instead of just having one president, we wanted to be able to make sure that both FRC and FTC were equally represented there. So we ended up with a co-president of FTC and a co-president of FRC that are both working together to promote both programs at the same time and balancing the different interactions there. And then we also have a director of project management to help keep all the different committees on task, and a director of marketing and communication to manage social media posts across all committees and things like blog posts to get information out to the rest of the people in First Wisconsin. We also have individual committee leads for each of those, like advocacy, education, DE&I, and growth and sustainability committees. And within those, we also have some smaller project leads to help take on projects that are some of the larger projects within those committees. So like Jess is the FTC growth lead. We also have an FRC growth lead.
And in terms of once the students were selected for the student board, the way that we kind of determined like who was going to lead what areas and where they would best fit is by kind of matching people to their area of talent. Some individuals were matched because they, you know, we had an area that we needed to succeed in, like they were really great at, you know, engaging legislative representatives. And so it was like, oh, that would be great for being part of the advocacy committee. And others, it was like, you know, this makes sense to plug them in as co-presidents, or they express their interest in doing this communication, you know, opportunity. And so that's kind of how those different pieces were selected. So being very clear about like what you're interested in and how you want to make an impact, I'd say those are the two big things, just like Jess said. Good job.